The message from the stars. John Winters lived a quiet life. He worked the night shift at a small security company in the city. His job was boring, but he liked the silence. After work, he would sit alone in his old garage. The garage was full of strange equipment, wires, radios, and old computers. It looked like a place from a science fiction movie. John had a strange hobby. Every night, he searched the skies for signals, not from planes or satellites, but from space. He was not crazy. He just believed that maybe one day something would answer, and then one night, something did. It started with a soft beep. His old radio, dusty and half-broken, lit up with a red light. The sound was strange, like static at first, but then he heard a voice. It was soft, scared, and not human. "Please. Help. My mother. They are taking her. I'm alone. Please. Help me." John froze. He played the message again. It was not a recording from Earth. The voice was high, like a child's, but it was different. Alien. It didn't match any language on Earth, yet somehow he understood it. He sat back in his chair, heart beating fast. He cleaned his glasses and checked the radio settings again. Everything was normal. Nothing explained what he just heard. The message played again. "Please, someone, help me." John could not stop thinking about it. Was it a trick, a mistake, or was this real? He took out his notebook and started writing. He noted the frequency, the signal strength, and the exact time. Then he listened again. "They took her. I'm hiding. I'm scared. Please save her." His hands shook. He stood up and walked in circles. His mind was racing. What if this was a real cry for help? What if a child out there in the stars needed someone, and no one else heard it? Except him. "I can't just sit here," he whispered to himself. John spent the next 3 hours trying to trace the signal. He used old space maps and coded software he had written years ago. The signal came from a sector far beyond Mars, a place with no known planets, just stars and darkness, but the signal was real, and someone sent it. John took a deep breath. He turned to his old computer and started typing a reply. "I heard your message. Who are you? Where are you? How can I help?" He clicked, "Send." The signal went out into space, and then silence. For 10 minutes, nothing happened. John sat there staring at the screen. Maybe it was all in his head. Maybe it was just a strange dream. But then, the radio beeped again. "You answered? You heard me? Thank you. Please, hurry." The message was broken and weak, but it was real. "My name is Zuri," the voice said. "I am not from your world. My mother was taken by the Krell. They are evil. They hurt people. They—" The message cut off. John leaned forward. "Krell?" he whispered. He had heard that name before, in old stories and hidden files on the internet. Some people believed the Krell were real, an alien empire that took over planets, stealing technology and destroying anyone who resisted. John stood up. He looked at the night sky through the small window in his garage. "What am I supposed to do?" he asked the stars. He was just a man. He had no spaceship, no weapons, no training. Just an old radio and a heart that couldn't ignore a child's voice. He sat back down. His hand hovered over the keyboard. He started typing again. "Zuri, I don't know how, but I will try to help you." He hit send. But before the message could go out, his radio suddenly went dark. All lights shut off. His computer froze, and then he heard a low hum outside. John ran to the window. A small black drone hovered outside his garage. It had no lights, no sound. But it was watching him. "Government?" he whispered. He backed away slowly. He had heard rumors. People who talked about aliens sometimes disappeared, others were watched. He shut the window and locked the door. But the message was already out there. Somewhere in space. A child named Zuri had asked for help, and John Winters, A quiet man with an old radio had answered. He didn't know what would happen next, but he knew one thing. He couldn't stop now. The alien child. The sky was quiet, but John Winters couldn't sleep. After the message from Zuri, his world had changed. He used to be a man who watched the stars from a broken garage. Now he was part of something far bigger, something dangerous. The black drone outside his house had vanished the next morning. No sign of who sent it. No noise. No message. Just silence. John knew someone had heard the message too. Someone didn't want him to help, but he had already decided he would. He just didn't know how. For 2 nights, John worked in secret. He avoided using his regular computer and built a backup radio system. Deep in his storage, he pulled out a strange object, an alien chip he found 5 years ago during a camping trip near Nevada. Back then, he thought it was a piece of junk. But now, when he connected it to his system, something strange happened. The chip glowed with a faint blue light. The radio hissed and popped, and then a soft voice returned. "John? Are you there? Zuri?" He leaned closer. "I'm here. You came back." Her voice was weak. "They're close. They destroyed the village where I hid. I had to run." John's heart sank. She was just a child, alone on a planet in deep space, and some alien army was hunting her. "Where are you now?" "On a cold moon. There's no food here. No light. Just caves. Please. I'm scared." John took a deep breath. "I'm coming. I don't know how yet, but I'm coming." Zuri was quiet for a moment. "No one from your planet has ever answered. You're different. They told me humans were weak, selfish. But you're not like that." John almost smiled. "We have our bad days, but we protect what matters." Zuri whispered. "You will need a ship. There's one near you. I'll guide you." "Wait. What do you mean?" "There is an old Watcher ship under your planet's surface, hidden long ago. It still works, if you are brave enough." The line went silent. John blinked. An alien ship. On Earth? He didn't ask more questions. He packed a bag with tools, food, and one photo. His mother. She died years ago, but the memory of her kindness still lived in him. Maybe that's why Zuri's voice hit him so hard. No child should lose their mother. Zuri sent him coordinates. Deep in the desert, far from any city. The next night, John drove for hours. No music, no lights, only the sound of his old truck and his racing thoughts. Finally, he reached the spot. Just dry land and dust. "This can't be right," he said. But then, the ground under his feet shook. Just a little. The dust moved. A square shape appeared, glowing faintly. He pulled out a small scanner built from alien parts. The signal was strong. There was something under the earth. He began digging with a small shovel. After an hour, he hit metal. His hands trembled as he cleared the surface. Dark silver, smooth like glass, but harder than steel. It pulsed with light when he touched it. Suddenly, a circle opened in the metal and a staircase revealed itself. John looked around the empty desert. No one was watching. He went down. The air below was warm and quiet. Walls glowed with soft blue lines. It felt alive. The chamber was small, and at the center stood a ship, sleek, black, shaped like an arrowhead. He whispered, "This was under my feet the whole time." A panel lit up, and Zuri's voice echoed in the room. "This ship is called Astra. It listens to your voice. Speak, and it will fly." John stepped closer. "Astra," he said, "can you hear me?" The ship's door slid open. He entered slowly. Everything was made for someone taller, stronger. But the controls adjusted when he touched them. Lights blinked. The engine hummed. The ship was waking up. Zuri's voice returned. "You must come fast. The Krell are close. If they find me, they'll take my mind. They do that to prisoners." They erase everything. John's hands clenched the controls. Not if I get there first. But just as he started to take off, a red light flashed across the ship's screen. A voice, cold, sharp, spoke. In an unknown language. John didn't understand the words, but the meaning was clear. They found him. On the radar, 2 ships appeared above the desert. Small, fast, not human. He launched the ship. Astra roared into the sky, faster than anything John had ever felt. He looked back. Beams of red light cut through the sky behind him. "They're shooting," he shouted. Astra moved on its own, dodging blasts. John watched as stars stretched before him. Earth became smaller. The moon flew past. And then, darkness, space. He had left Earth, and he was not alone. A soft light blinked on the console. "Course, set," the ship said. "Destination, Zuri." John sat back, heart still racing. His mind was full of questions. Why him? Why now? Who were the Krell really? But one thing was clear. He was the only one who answered, and he was on his way. Escape and chase stars flew past the windows of the ship. John sat in the pilot seat, silent, staring at the darkness ahead. He had never left Earth before, never dreamed of flying through space. But now he was chasing a cry for help, a voice that reached across the stars, a voice he couldn't ignore. Zuri. The alien child was hiding on a moon in an unknown system. Cold, alone, hunted by a race called the Krell. John had never heard of them before this, but everything about them felt wrong, heartless, cruel, unstoppable. And now, they were hunting him too. The ship, Astra, moved fast, faster than any human machine. Its metal skin shimmered like night water, and it listened to John's voice as if it understood him. "How far are we?" John asked quietly. A soft voice answered from the ship's system. "Arrival in 2 hours. Tracking life signs. Zuri is still alive." John leaned back. That was good, but for how long? Suddenly, a red light blinked on the control screen. "Fast. Urgent. Warning," Astra said. "We are not alone." John jumped up and looked at the radar. Behind him, 2 fast-moving ships, not human. Their energy signals were sharp and angry, like claws in the dark. "They followed me," he whispered. "Enemy ships identified. Krell patrol units, armed, orders, capture or destroy." Astra began to speed up. John grabbed the control sticks, unsure what to do. "Astra, can you fight?" "Limited defense. This ship is for escape and rescue, not war." "Great," John muttered. And their warships, the Krell ships, were getting closer. They fired. A glowing beam sliced past the ship, shaking it hard. John held tight as alarms screamed. Astra rolled sideways, dodging the next blast. "We have to lose them," John shouted. "Scanning for cover." Astra replied. "Asteroid field ahead. High risk, high chance of survival if piloted manually." John stared at the screen. Thousands of rocks floating in the void, spinning fast, sharp as knives. One wrong move and he'd be space dust, but he didn't have a choice. "Take us in," he said. The ship dove into the asteroid field. Rocks flew past the windows. Massive stones turned slowly, blocking light, creating shadows. The Krell ships followed. "Manual. Control activated," Astra said. "Of course," John muttered. His hands tightened on the controls. He moved left, then down, then rolled between 2 spinning rocks. The ship screamed in warning, but he kept going. Behind him, one of the Krell ships wasn't fast enough. It clipped a large asteroid and exploded into flame and metal. One down, but the other was smarter. Faster. John breathed hard. "You're not getting me, not today." A sharp turn. A narrow gap. A spin that scraped the ship's wing. They made it through. Then, silence. The second ship was gone. Astra spoke softly. "No enemy detected. Course is clear." John laughed nervously. We made it? For now. He leaned back, heart racing. But the silence didn't last. A few minutes later, Astra spoke again. Approaching moon. Life sign confirmed. Zuri is hiding underground. The ship began to slow down as they entered orbit. The moon was dark and cracked like old bone. No trees, no sky, no air, just stone and silence. The ship landed quietly between two large rock towers. John grabbed his oxygen suit and stepped out. The wind was sharp and dry. He could barely see, but Astra showed him the path, down a narrow canyon, through broken caves, until finally, he saw a light. A small glowing stone marked a hidden door in the rock. He knocked. Nothing. He knocked again. Slowly, the door opened. Inside was a small alien child with big silver eyes and skin that shimmered like pearls. She looked scared, tired, and cold. Zuri? John asked. She nodded slowly. You came. John smiled. Of course I did. Zuri ran into his arms. She was small, no bigger than a human 6-year-old, but there was something ancient in her eyes. Something wise. They were close. I felt them searching, she whispered. You saved me. Not yet, John said. We need to get off this rock. Come on. He picked her up gently and ran back through the canyon. But before they reached the ship, Astra sent a warning. New threat. A Krell beacon is active. More ships will arrive in 15 minutes. John cursed. They'll find us. Zuri looked at him. I can stop the beacon, but I need to go back, just for a moment. No way. It's too dangerous. If we don't, they will follow us forever. John hesitated. Finally, he nodded. Show me where. They returned to the cave. Deep inside, behind a wall of sharp crystals, Zuri placed her hand on a stone. Her skin glowed. The crystals opened, revealing a strange machine, buzzing with red light. Zuri reached out and touched it. The light turned blue. Then, darkness. The beacon is gone, she said. John grabbed her hand. Then let's go. They ran, but this time they weren't fast enough. A shadow dropped from the sky. A tall figure, black armor, glowing red eyes, a Krell warrior. He landed between them and the ship. John stepped in front of Zuri. No gun, no weapon, just fists. The Krell raised a blaster. John didn't move. If you want her, you go through me. The Krell paused. Then something strange happened. The creature scanned John and stopped. A mechanical voice spoke. You are human. Yeah, John said. You got a problem with that? The Krell stepped back slowly, then turned and vanished into the sky. John blinked. What just happened? Zuri looked at him, eyes wide. They're afraid of you. Me? No human has ever come this far. They think your kind are monsters. John smiled. Good, let's keep it that way. They ran back to Astra and took off. As the moon grew small behind them, John looked at Zuri. We're not done yet. We still have to find your mother. Zuri nodded. Yes, and the place she's kept is worse than anything you've seen. John stared into space. Then let's go break the rules. The guardian of the past. The stars outside the window of Astra no longer looked beautiful. They looked cold, distant, and full of secrets. John Winters sat in silence, his hands shaking slightly. Beside him, Zuri slept curled up in the co-pilot seat. Her small hands were wrapped around a glowing stone. Something she said reminded her of home. John had never seen anything like it before. It pulsed with light, like a living heart. Just like her. After escaping the Krell, he thought things might slow down. But now, a new fear had taken root inside him. What if he was too late? Zuri's mother was still missing, taken by the Krell. And the more Zuri told him, the worse it sounded. The Krell didn't just capture people. They erased them. They broke minds, turned memories into data, and used them to build their empire. If her mother was still alive, every second mattered, and the only clue they had was a name. The Guardian. Who is the Guardian? John had asked earlier. Zuri opened, her eyes slowly, her voice quiet. He is old. Very old. Older than any race in this galaxy. He remembers everything. And he sees things even when no one speaks. The Guardian knows where they took her. John blinked. Sounds helpful. Where is he? Zuri looked out the window. That's the problem. He is trapped on a forgotten world, a prison of time and memory. No one goes there anymore. Then that's where we're going, John said. Astra adjusted course, and hours later, the ship dropped out of light speed. The planet was gray, broken, covered in long cracks like dry skin. Clouds swirled above it like smoke. No green, no water, no life, but something waited down there. What is this place? John whispered. Zuri spoke without looking. This world was once called Elnar. Long ago it was full of thinkers, builders, dreamers. But they created something too powerful, something that could not forget. When it began remembering things it shouldn't, they locked it away underground. John stared at the black surface, below. And that's the Guardian? Zuri nodded. Yes. He has watched the universe from beneath the ground for thousands of years. Now, he is alone. Great, John said. I love creepy old memory machines. The ship landed on the edge of a shattered city. Buildings looked like frozen bones sticking out of the earth. No lights, no sound, only the wind and silence. They stepped out, walking slowly toward a large dome-shaped structure half buried in dust. As they entered, the walls lit up with strange symbols. They moved like rivers, glowing and shifting. He sees us, Zuri said. A voice filled the air. You are not of this place. John's eyes narrowed. We don't mean harm. We're looking for someone. All who enter here seek something. Many seek power. Few seek truth. I'm not like them. Prove it. The ground shook. Suddenly, the floor below them turned, transparent, showing thousands of memories, flickering like holograms. John saw flashes of war, planets burning, children crying, and strange beings laughing in dark rooms. Then, a memory of his own. He saw himself as a child holding his mother's hand, standing at her funeral. Her face soft, full of light. He gasped. How do you know that? I remember all who remember others. John stepped forward. Then remember this. A child named Zuri asked for help. Her mother was taken by the Krell. We need to find her. The light grew dim. For a long moment there was no answer. Then, slowly, the walls opened, revealing a deep tunnel lit by blue fire. This way, Zuri said. He wants us to follow. They walked for what felt like hours. The deeper they went, the colder it got. The fire turned purple. The air grew heavy. At the end of the tunnel was a vast chamber, and in the center, a machine unlike anything John had ever seen. It was floating, made of wires, bones, and crystal. 1,000 eyes blinked on its surface, watching from every direction. It was not alive. But it knew. You seek the one taken by the black stars. John nodded. Yes, can you help? You ask for what cannot be given easily. Just tell me where she is. The Krell do not keep prisoners. They keep pain. What they took may not be whole anymore. John looked at Zuri. Her eyes were full of fear but not surprise. I still have to try, John said. The Guardian was silent for a long time. Then one of its crystal eyes glowed brighter. There is a place, a red world near the twin suns. There, they build the machine of forgetting. If she lives, she is there. But to go is to choose war. John stepped forward. Then I choose war. So be it. The chamber began to shake. The Guardian's voice grew deeper. You have awakened old eyes. Now, The galaxy watches you. John felt something enter his mind. A new map. A location burned into his thoughts. He grabbed Zuri's hand. We need to go. As they turned to leave, the Guardian said one last thing. Human, you are not what we expected. We feared your kind. We told stories of your fire. But perhaps that fire is the only thing that can burn away the dark. John didn't answer. They ran back to Astra. As they took off, John sat down hard, staring. At the stars ahead, Zuri leaned on his shoulder. Do you think she's still alive? John didn't know, but he looked at her, this brave little alien girl who had trusted him when no one else did. And he said, yes, because we're not stopping until we find her. Behind them, the planet of memory disappeared into the void. Ahead of them, the red world waited. Deal with the dark. The ship moved like a ghost across the stars. Silent, fast, focused. John Winters sat alone in the cockpit, watching the red planet grow larger ahead of them. Zuri was resting in the back, holding the glowing memory stone close to her chest. She had barely spoken since they left Elnar. Her mother was near, and danger was even closer. John had never felt fear like this, not even when the Krell chased him through the asteroid field. This was different. The closer they got to the red planet, the colder the ship felt. Astra's systems kept flashing warnings, but nothing could explain why. Something was waiting for them. Astera, John said. How long until we reach the planet? 30 minutes to orbit, the ship replied. But entering the surface will be dangerous. Defense systems are active. Life is not welcome here. Figures, John muttered. He turned around to check on Zuri. She was awake now, staring at him. You're worried, she said softly. Yeah. I've been worried since I met you. She gave a small smile. You don't have to do this, John. You've done enough. No, he said. I haven't done anything until we bring your mother back. Zuri sat up slowly. There's something I didn't tell you. John looked at her, concerned. What is it? This planet, she whispered, is cursed. Long ago it was the center of the galaxy's trade, full of life. Then the Dark One came. John frowned. Who's the Dark One? His name is not spoken by most. He is not Krell, but he helps them. He trades with them. He collects things, secrets, voices, memories. He sounds like a monster. Zuri nodded. He is more than that. He's the one who helped build the machine that erases minds. John stood. Then we'll need to talk to him. Zuri's eyes widened. No, he doesn't talk. He makes deals, dangerous ones. If he knows where your mother is, I'll make the deal. John, listen to me, Zuri said, her voice shaking. He never gives something for free. He always takes something back. And what he takes, you can't get it back. John walked to the front of the ship, staring out into the red clouds ahead. Then let him try. The planet was dry and red like rusted blood. Sharp mountains tore the sky. Black towers stood in ruins. It felt less like a world, and more like a memory that refused to die. They landed in a narrow canyon. The air buzzed with static. Astra's energy flickered for a moment. John and Zuri stepped outside. Stay close to me, John said. They walked until they reached a large gate carved into the stone. Strange symbols glowed faintly. As John reached for the door, it opened on its own. A voice, cold and smooth, echoed through the canyon. You have come to make a deal. John stepped forward. I'm looking for the Dark One. You have found him. A figure stepped from the shadows. He was tall, thin, and covered in black armor that shimmered like oil. His face was hidden behind a smooth silver mask with no eyes or mouth. Strange tubes ran from his back into the ground. But the most terrifying thing was the silence that followed. No wind, no sound. Not even Zuri breathed. John stood tall. We need information. A woman was taken by the Krell. Zuri's mother. We believe she's being held here. The Dark One tilted his head slowly. I know the one you seek. She is in the core. Her memories are being fed to the machine. Soon she will forget herself. Then, she will belong to them. John stepped forward. Tell us how to get her out. The Dark One raised a finger. Everything has a price. I trade in what others fear to lose. John clenched his fists. What do you want? A memory, the Dark One said. But not just any memory. I want your most precious one, the one that makes you human. John felt a chill run through his bones. What does that mean? Give me your strongest memory. The one that gives you strength. The one that hurts the most. And in return, I will show you the way. Zuri grabbed John's arm. Don't do it. John looked at her. If that's the only way to find your mother. But you'll lose a piece of yourself. Something important. John closed his eyes. He thought of his mother, her voice, her laugh, the way she told stories when he was sick, the way she smiled, even when she was dying. That was the memory, his anchor. If I give it to you, John said to the Dark One, will she still be alive? Yes, the Dark One said, but she will not last much longer. John opened his eyes. Then take it. The Dark One raised his hand. A soft black light touched John's forehead. Suddenly, his mind exploded with images. His childhood, the pain of loss, the warmth of love. He screamed as the most powerful part of his past was pulled away. And then, it was gone. He dropped to his knees. Zuri ran to him. John, are you okay? He looked at her. His face was pale. His eyes emptier. I'm fine, he said quietly, but I can't remember her face. The Dark One stepped back into the shadows. Follow the red path beneath the mountain. The machine is there. But beware. The Krell do not guard it. Something older does. John stood slowly. Thank you, he said. We are done, the Dark One replied, and the door slammed shut behind them. Back on the ship, John didn't speak. Zuri sat beside him, worried. You really don't remember? John shook his head. I remember her name, her voice, but not her face. It's like something is missing from my soul. Zuri touched his hand. You gave part of your heart to help me. John smiled weakly. Let's make sure it was worth it. Astra lifted off and flew toward the mountain. Beneath it, the machine of forgetting waited, and time was running out. Prison Break, the mountain rose like a monster from the planet's red surface, tall, jagged, and blackened by time. Lightning cracked above it, yet no thunder followed. The air here felt wrong, like it had forgotten how to breathe. John Winters stood at the edge of the cliff, looking down into the deep chasm below. Beside him, Zuri was silent. She held her memory stone tightly, her eyes locked on the glowing red path the Dark One had shown them. This is it, John said. The place your mother is being held. Zuri nodded. The place where minds go to die. The entrance to the Krell prison wasn't a door. It was a wound in the mountain. Jagged stone formed a mouth, and smoke poured from within like the breath of something ancient and cruel. Astra, their ship, couldn't go further. The energy fields here were too unstable. They had to go in alone. Ready? John asked. Zuri hesitated. No, but I'm going anyway. They stepped into the darkness. Inside, the air was thick and heavy. Machines lined the walls, black and sharp like thorns. Lights flickered above them, casting long shadows that seemed to move on their own. This place feels alive, John whispered. It is, Zuri said. The machine feeds on thoughts. The walls listen. They moved deeper, following the map burned into John's mind by the Guardian. Every step echoed like something was following them just out of sight. Then they saw it, a massive chamber, cold and metallic. In the center, suspended by wires and glowing blue tubes, was Zuri's mother. She looked fragile, floating in the air, eyes closed, skin pale. Her memories being pulled through wires like smoke. "Mom," Zuri whispered. "Wait," John said, grabbing her shoulder. "Look." Below her, on the floor of the chamber, were creatures. They weren't Krell. They were older, twisted beings made of shadow and glass, moving without sound. Their bodies shifted like smoke, but their eyes glowed with hunger. "Memory keepers," Zuri whispered. "They guard the machine. If they see us, they'll try to take us too." John stared at them. "Then we don't let them see us." They moved slowly, hiding behind thick pipes and broken consoles. John studied the machine's center. It was a glowing orb behind Zuri's mother, pulsing like a heart. "We shut that down. We shut everything down," he said. "But if we do it wrong, it could erase her completely. Then we don't do it wrong." They reached the control panel. The language was alien, full of strange curves and blinking symbols. "Can you read it?" John asked. "Some of it," Zuri said, "but not fast. And they're waking up." The memory keepers began to move toward the control panel. Something had alerted them. "We're out of time," John said. "Just do your best. Just do." Zuri's fingers danced across the controls, her eyes focused. The machine screamed as systems failed. Sparks flew from the ceiling. The memory keepers screeched, an awful sound that echoed through John's bones. They charged. "Get behind me," John shouted. He pulled out a small blaster he'd taken from the ship. It wasn't much, but it was loud. He fired once. Bright light slammed into the first keeper. It burst into mist and vanished, but more were coming. "Almost there," Zuri cried. "Just keep them back." John fought hard. He dodged claws made of smoke and fire. He blocked attacks with metal panels. He used everything around him to survive, but they were endless. One creature grabbed his arm. Pain shot through him. He saw flashes of his own memories, his childhood, his mother Zuri, all being pulled away. He screamed and broke free, slamming the creature into the control panel. "Done!" Zuri shouted. The main orb cracked, lights exploded across the chamber. The wires holding Zuri's mother began to fall away. The machine screamed. The memory keepers hissed and vanished, as if a flame had burned them from the inside. The silence that followed was almost louder than the battle. John ran to the pod, catching Zuri's mother as she fell. Her breathing was shallow, but she was alive. Zuri dropped beside her, tears in her eyes. "Mom, it's me." Her mother opened her eyes slowly. "Zuri," she whispered. "Is it really you?" Zuri sobbed. "Yes. I found you. I brought help." Her mother looked up at John. "You are not one of us." "I'm human," John said. "But today, I guess that means hero." She smiled weakly. "Thank you." They didn't have long. The chamber shook. Alarms blared. The prison was collapsing. John grabbed both of them. "Time to go." They ran through the tunnels as the ground cracked behind them. Fire burst from the walls. Machines screamed. The mountain was tearing itself apart. Astra waited outside, powered up and ready. They jumped in just as the cave behind them exploded. John shouted, "Get us out of here!" Astra shot into the sky. Behind them, the mountain crumbled, swallowed by red fire. The prison of memories was gone forever. Inside the ship, Zuri held her mother close, crying quietly. John sat back in the pilot seat, breathing hard. "You did it," Zuri whispered. John looked at her. "No, we did it." Her mother smiled. "The galaxy will come for us now. The Krell won't stop." John nodded. "Then let them come." He looked out at the stars. "I'm done running." As Astra disappeared into the stars, a signal echoed across the galaxy, one that the Krell could not ignore. A prison had fallen. A human had broken it, and hope had survived. Humanity unleashed. The stars were quiet again. Astra flew through the deep black, silent and smooth, far from the red planet and the broken prison behind them. For the first time in days, there were no alarms, no enemies, no screams. But John Winters couldn't rest. He sat in the co-pilot seat, staring ahead, his mind still stuck in the fires of that collapsing mountain. Zuri slept beside her mother in the back of the ship, holding her hand tightly. For now they were safe, but not for long, because freedom has a price. And they had just stolen something the galaxy feared: hope. John stood in the control room of Astra, alone. "Astra," he said, "how long until the Krell find us?" The ship answered without hesitation. "They are already searching. We have 6 hours, maybe less, until they intercept." John sighed. "Then we don't run. Not this time." The ship was silent. He looked out at the stars. "Send a message." To whom? He paused. To Earth. On a dark moon orbiting a dead world, a fleet of Krell warships assembled. Hundreds of black, angular vessels, each one a weapon, each one filled with soldiers who didn't sleep, didn't dream, didn't forgive. In the heart of the lead ship sat a figure made of steel and bone, Lord Vareth. His face was hidden behind a cracked helmet. His voice sounded like grinding metal. A red hologram hovered before him. A human. Breaking a Krell prison, taking what does not belong, he slammed his clawed hand on the console. "Prepare the fleet," he growled. "Bring me the child, bring me the human, and burn the planet that hides them." The Krell ships vanished into hyperspace. Back on Astra, Zuri's mother was growing stronger. Her name was Alara. Once a scientist, she had fought against the Krell's memory machine until they silenced her. Now she had her mind again. Thanks to John. She stood beside him at the control panel, weak but determined. "You still have a chance to escape," she told him. "You don't have to fight them." "I know," John replied. "But someone has to." "Why you?" Because no one else answered her message. And because if they think humans are monsters, maybe it's time we show them what monsters we can really. He turned to Zuri, who was watching quietly. "How's our guest doing?" Zuri smiled. "She remembers me. Not everything, but enough." John nodded. "That's all we need." Hours later, Astra entered orbit around a blue and green planet near an ancient relay station. The planet was abandoned, but it had one use left: a signal. John had sent it earlier. A single call across space through every old human satellite and probe left drifting in the stars. "This is John Winters. Earthborn. We are not alone. And we are not weak." Now, as Astra landed on the ruined world, old human satellites began to blink to life. And they answered. Ships. Small. Hidden. Old war tech that had been buried after Earth left the galactic stage. They rose from the dirt like buried titans. Zuri watched in amazement. "What is this?" John smiled. "Earth doesn't forget. We just got tired of watching." The sky turned black. The Krell fleet arrived. They didn't speak. They didn't warn. They attacked. John, Alara, and Zuri watched from Astra's command screen as the first wave of Krell ships descended. "They're here," Astra said. "Hundreds of them." John took a deep breath. "Good." He opened a channel. "This is John Winters. You wanted a fight? Welcome to humanity." The defense grid activated. Earth's forgotten war machines fired, turrets hidden in mountain ranges, drones flying from old silos, plasma cannons long buried under dust. All woke up at once. The sky exploded with light. John launched Astra. They flew straight into battle. The fight was chaos. Astra danced between enemy ships, dodging laser blasts, firing pulse beams. John fought like he had nothing left to lose, because he didn't. This wasn't about one child anymore. This was about every child, every voice that was never heard, every life erased by the Krell and their machines. And now, humanity had answered. "Krell ship ahead," Astra warned. "On it," John growled. He fired 2 missiles, direct hit. Flames lit the sky. Zuri operated the shield systems. Alara managed energy reserves. They were not soldiers, but they were done hiding. Deep in the heart of the Krell flagship, Lord Vareth watched the battle unfold. He sneered. One human, one ship, And you let them break our prison? His guard said nothing. Then I will end it myself. He stepped into his drop pod. Alone, John saw the drop pod coming. Fast. Direct. He's coming here, John said. Alara's eyes widened. That's their commander. Good, John said. Bring him in. The pod hit the ground outside the relay tower. John stepped out, gun in hand. The air went still, and Vareth stepped forward. A monster in metal. Tall, inhuman, his red eyes glowing like fire. You are brave, he said, but that will not save you. John stood tall. I'm not here to be saved. I'm here to show you what human rage looks like, they charged. It wasn't a clean fight. It was brutal. John fought with everything he had, fists, fire, fury. Vareth was stronger, faster. But John was angry. And sometimes, that's enough. They crashed through walls, through fire, through memory. And then, John remembered something, even though he shouldn't have. His mother's face. Just for a moment. Her voice. Her strength. And it gave him the power to rise one last time. He grabbed a broken pipe, charged forward, and drove it through Vareth's chest. The alien roared and fell. The commander of the Krell was no more. The fleet began to retreat. The machines shut down, and across the stars, a message spread. A human answered the call. John stood on the edge of the broken tower, bloodied but alive. Zuri and Alara ran to him. You're okay, Zuri cried. He smiled. You saved me too. Days later, as they rested on Astra, John looked out at the stars again. The radio crackled softly. John Winters, a new voice said. This is Outpost 47. We received your signal. Is it true? The Krell have fallen? John picked up the mic. They learned something today, he said. Humanity may be small, but we don't give up. Not on each other. The voice responded. Then we'll see you soon. The galaxy is waking up. John smiled. Yeah, he whispered, and we're ready. Back in his old garage on Earth, the radio still sits, silent until it crackles. A new message. Earth. We need you. And someone, somewhere, listens. Because one brave human answered once. And now, many will.